Okay, very quickly here.
Uganda's brothers and sisters to know that I endorse Bobiwine for the blessed love all brothers and sisters. This is Subi. Now, I want all my Uganda's brothers and sisters to know that I endorse Bobiwine for the next president of Uganda. So I endorse Bobiwine in the upcoming election. I saw an interview, before I even say that, and before anyone says, what am I doing in Uganda's business? I was in Uganda twice as an African. I came back home, and my brother Megadi called me to the side and said to me, your name is Subi. I said, what does that mean? He said, Subi means hope. This was the first time I came to Uganda. Here I am today as Subi, which means hope. Now, this is a great manifestation because now the hope is here. And the hope, I believe, personally believe, for Uganda is Bobiwine. I am counting on the people of Uganda to take the change that the world is waiting to see. We, the younger generation and the generation to come, we must create a better world for ourselves and the generation to come. We cannot keep doing business the same way with corrupted leaders around the world, especially in the African diaspora. We cannot be doing things the same way and expecting a different result. I think Bobiwine loves you more than himself, because no one would put his or her life in danger for something that they do not believe in or for something that they do not love more than themselves. He loves you more than life itself. I look in his eyes, people. He loves you. I saw an interview with him on Al Jazeera TV. And the interview with Bobiwine, I need you all to watch it. He is sincere.
He's going to be maneno nakafunyiwa no ku Facebook mwenando ozera mukaina na yeye tuddamu ne tubukuba wano kitegeera tuddamu ne tubukuba wano so temukitya nnyo ngenda kuddamu nkafune banange struggle kansoke nkubine kano
buli omu alina bw'abyogerako. Dokita we tugenda okumula, Bobi yagambye nti osobola okubeera omukulembeze, naye omukulembeze olina abantu b'osobola okukulembera nga balina ebintu by'okola nga tobikkiririzaamu, naye ate munnayo bonna babeera bantu bo oba olina obbakulembera.
Ekyo bwe yakyogedde ate yatukoze bubi nnyo, weeyeeyo omuntu gwe. Naye ye statement kati bali basponsor baba bajagala
basponsor bibaluwa
abamu wagira abazungu abo Jesse Jackson ani be statement baba kola ki laga gifulumye oluddewo awulide kati baba kola ki tukola bakefuluma naye bwabanga gifulumiza must be the guy.
Dr. Nyizi.
Yes. Kubanga abanye Uganda for God and our country. Twine dini wa
Katonda.
N'obuwango bwaffe tubukiriza ki besiyaga. N'amateeka gaffe tegakola ki. Kati nawo sikwonoona nsi ate kataze n'okwonoona ki abantu oba baana baffe tulemu otutya ensi eno. That is stupid. Okitegedde obwonoonefu ekyo kimu. Kyokubiri abamuwagira bonna ebweru. Jesse Jackson oyo yalisoose okubeera pulezidenti omuddugavu omu America. Naye ne baddugavu banne baagaana wakubeera musiyazi kuwagira byakusiyaga ebintu bitaliimu mpisa and so on. Nti constituency yo bwe befaanagana bwetyo then byogera byonna batemuli nyo batemuli nti n'abantu bano abamuwagira ebweru bw'obalaba abasinga okuleekaana bali mu ebyo abasinga okuleekaana abatali mu ebyo bali hoodwinked kinyumo. Pulezidenti ya Bobiwine gitunulire mu Iraq kati nga bwefaanana. Tunulira Lebanon nga bwefaanana. Olire tunulira Bolivia nga Morales nga bwefaanana. That is the project. Nabagamba tulina fourth world war yetambula kati ne ebintu bifaanagana bwe biti obutali bumativu bwe bakozesa kati bwebujja ku nsi enjavu ngaffe ebyo bakola ki byebabeera bakozesa abantu bekalakase ovuve muki njakulaga nsi okwonoona wetasanga nsi nga basajja Algeria bamaze mu luguudo bagenze wiiki anamu emu osho wiiki meka
mwezi mulamba
nebategesa okulonda okulonda kwe kumala bwe bye democracy bali mu luguudo fesitwagala kulonda kakati mwe mwagala ki ekinadira bajja bawuti kasita banaalonda balonda president ekinadira kubeera mu luguudo. Now ensi eno era bagamba okulwanyisa Museveni mulinga abaloge mulinga ki baloge bennyini kandi ate mutuleetere ebisiyaga
statement tyagambye nti abiwagira tyagambye nti abiwagira anti tabalinaako nnyo buzibu
kubiwagira baana baffe kubaleeta bisiyaga
naye takkiriziganya nabo
bijje ne mu masomero
statement ya social sikkiriziganya nabo
abyagala tabalinaako mutawaana. That's the most dangerous statement. Naye nze mbamanyi ebyo ajja bituukako n'ebisingawo. Bayinza ogamba mu mwaka statement ey'ebisiyaga tujagala edazini emirundi dazini.
Gobeera wano naye ngeri eri abakontrolinga
kale buli obeekola press conference oli ajja kikubuuza pa direct. So bapime mayindi yo wasiramukira ddala oba olimu akantu ebyo byonna bijja kuvaayo.
na bino be bategeka nti kati ogende South Africa era nti buuza ku kino
ekyo gyo kukyogerera omusangayo anakikubuuza. So worldwide gye bali aba movement ey'abasiyazi kakati wano olwokuba twabyogerako mu parliament tubiteekako netteeka kwegamba kutumaliramu ddala kuleeta ki ebyo n'amasomero gaabwe ntugaggalawo.
yakutwala eri musajjawo Odugan naye wetwogerera
balamusiza baganda bange mujje baleko kuliko South Africa naye kansooka okusaasira mwenna abalina baganda bammwe ababeera ebuduuda n'ababeera ebundi bujjo kuba nti amataba gabatuusizaako ekyo kye gabatuusizaako. Ebundi bujjo bantu bangi bafudde n'ebuduuda ndowooza landslides obazazeemu. We really feel sorry for the people abatuukiddwako obuzibu obwo n'abafiiriddwa families zaabwe. Really sorry. Ekyokubiri kansooka okwebaza omukulu Kyagulanyi olwa trip ye gye yabaddemu e South Africa. Yabadde successful. I must say nti yabadde successful regardless of the atirare ne gundi wrath Museveni je unleashinze eri omukuru Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ngari South Africa. The highlights of the events in South Africa esoka ya statement je yakola ku SABC. It's making headlines all over the news in Uganda, and it is being pushed, by the way, technically and strategically by some elements within the government. Zenabagamba a statement je yakola like bagezako jizanya on both sides nga bagikozesa okuba nti bakuba people power. You see, the problem with these people is one, nti tebasobola kwawula, in fact tebasobola na kwawula revolution yeno, what tebasobola kwawula mugendo guno, from His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu himself as an individual. Kyagulanyi olwavudde gundi okufuna awadi tebabyogerako awadi je yafunye okuva mu Frederick Numan that's not, it's an issue to them. Awadi tebakiraba nti kyamaanyi, because we should be celebrating whenever a Ugandan gets an achievement worldwide. People should come out and congratulate Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. That is the only ways we can understand that we are living in a democracy. That is the only ways we can understand that politics shouldn't separate us. Inti Kyagulanyi wawangula awadi, we do congratulate him regardless of your political party. Nti omukulu oli wafuna Afrima, abantu bamuwagira naye ne bagamba nti, you know what, politics aside, music yatugatta, congratulations. But now that the lines were already drawn since last year in 2018 September, political differences zitiridde nnyo mu Uganda as we speak. Inti achievements Bobiwine zakoze okuwanika furaga ya Uganda n'abantu abasinga abakulu abali mu politics, abantu abasinga abakulu abandi badde bavaayo ne bakikozesa as a marketing tool okulaba nga bamarketing ensi yaffe n'okulaba nga tukyenyumirizaamu ekyo tebasobola kikola. You see, today woyogera luli twalinga twogera nti ova Uganda nga uluwosanga omuzungu akugamba ova Uganda ngomugamba yes ova Uganda ngakubuuza Idi Amin nti ye Idi Amin. Today wosanga omuzungu nakubuuza ova Uganda ngomugamba yes ova Uganda, ngakubuuza Bobiwine nga omuddamu Bobiwine indeed. You see, some people do not even know Museveni in the West. Of course not for the right reasons, for the wrong reasons. But most people know Bobiwine as we speak today, meaning that Bobiwine is more popular than Museveni in Muguni Musio Nakakati. You know why? The thing is because the age, number one, echirala echokubanti muyimbi. Now, most people have gotten to know Museveni because of Bobiwine, meaning that Museveni has been exposed to the world more. Omuntu asinze okuexposing Museveni to the world is Bobiwine. There is not any other politician in Uganda who has managed to expose Museveni and his atrocities except Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and the movement of people power. Because muri Bobiwine watambula abera ne labels nnyo batano. Label esooka is the musician and activist through his music and all this kind of thing. Nti Bobiwine akuba raga gundi, that's all Afrobeat music, music you are informative. Now there is that Bobiwine. Netubera ne Kyagulanyi, the member of parliament, nti parliamentarian ate musician azwe okubanga atulabako. Ekyokusatu kyekyokuba nti Bobiwine in himself buli waayita buli watambula, he has an identity of Museveni. Because the first question people will ask when they see this gentleman, they will ask, who is he? Nti he's a musician. From where? From Uganda. Why is he so popular? He's also a parliamentarian. Oh, he's a parliamentarian. Why is that so important? He has stood against the dictatorship in Uganda. Who is the dictator in Uganda? Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So from today onwards, Bobiwine is a man who does not need introduction. A man who doesn't need any introduction. Simanye jobyo bufuzi bichi. Ovayo notandika okuwoza bannange katwanirize omwami wa People Power omukulu Bobiwine Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu owa People Power. No. Just say 2 words. A man who doesn't need an introduction. Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu jango yogereka abantu. Cut everything short. Make it simple. Chisummarizing or chimare. Bobiwine is the only politician in Uganda who doesn't need introduction. Who doesn't need to show ichibi akoze. That is it. If the people outside the boundaries of Uganda are able to see what Bobiwine has been able to achieve, what about us in Uganda? Should we be asking what he has done? Absolutely not. But for any other politicians, bateka ku pedestal tubabuza kakati gomwako wiyise gonna kiki kyobadde okola oba oli opposition oba oli wenalem tugenda babuuza. That is it. You need wobanga ebintu ebyo byakwogerera nti nze bannange mbadde mbyobufuzi bya Uganda okumala emyaka weegiti ffe tulwanisiza Museveni n'okutuuka wano watuuse ffe tumutuusi. Wobanga ebibyo byakunnyonnyola ng'abantu tebabiraba, just know that you have spent 20 years of your life at waste. You know why? The only time ever wasted is the time mzungu yagamba nti time whenever you regret doing something, just know that that is time wasted. So whenever you go out there and fight Museveni and afterwards you say, oh, I regret, just know that all those years that you have been fighting the dictatorship, that all time has been wasted. You get it? All that time has been wasted. If you have to stand up and explain to Ugandans that we have been fighting this man for the past whatever, how many years, just know that you have spent 30 years of your life wasting it fighting a battle that Ugandans have not been in sync with. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, he has just come 1.5 years as we speak. Actually, not 1.5 years. 1 year and 3 months. How has he managed to get every Ugandan involved? Nabanga, you don't need an introduction into when you speak about Bobiwine, the first thing that you're going to think about is Museveni, and not for the right reasons. You're going to think about Museveni because this is the gentleman who has stood up with his life and everything to make sure that he brings democracy, human rights, and everything to Ugandans. Everyone has to stand up. Nabuzanti, he's a man who doesn't need introduction. But I know signals zimutambulirako. He has Museveni here, he has the parliamentarian here, he has the musician here, he has the activists on the other hand. So whatever you want is what you get. And for Museveni to be to people through Bobiwine, that is his worst nightmare. There is no president in this world or leader in this world who would like anyone who is trying to bring him down, not bringing him down in a sense of bringing him down, nayengo okumu bringing it down in a sense of exposing him. There is no president who would want that nga achikola a political opponent way. That is why you see Museveni, he's trying to show the world that, guys, look here, I'm fighting corruption. Ndimukola corruption works. Look here, guys, I'm creating investments in Namava, China, and all this kind of thing. Look here, guys, I'm trying to clamp down on human rights violators, especially in the police. Look here, guys, I'm trying to fight terrorism. He's trying to explain to these people, but people are not listening. I'm trying to fight poverty. And Bobiwine is debunking all of that. You know what that means? It is now Bobiwine who is Museveni. Whatever he's doing, he's dancing on the tunes of People Power and Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Because if Bobiwine says in Kakati Musajja gwe ghetto wazera bila otumizo obwavu Museveni gadduka mu ghetto. Abana Uganda tebalina mirimu and all this kind of thing ngaleeta abachina nga bagulawo factory in Namave. Corruption ayitiridde buli bwenguzi and all this kind of thing ngadduka. ng'ateekawo akakiiko k'oyo omukyalo oyo gwakola naye mugundi mu state house ng'amuleeta mukakati gwe nkuwadde ekiwayi ekikulira corruption mugundi mu government ya Museveni era tukolewo ne corruption work. The reason as to why Museveni is trying to do all these kind of things like we see bye bayita corruption work and all this kind of thing is to try to show the West that hey, look here, we are trying to do something. So the highlight of South Africa, Edimu points Satobanganya. I think Bobiwine will be coming back to Uganda sometime this week. Esoka chechokuba nti yawanguda award. Echokubiri chechokuba nti ya meetings ebana Uganda mu bifo bibiri, Joburg ne Cape Town, of which these two meetings were all successful. Na agende eri abana Uganda nayogerako gye bali n'abakuba omuziki nakola ne meetings and all this kind of thing. Echokuna, there are about 5 takeaway points. Chechokuba nti NRM was fully engaged mu South Africa okulaba nga bagezaako okukakanya people power. N'ekyokutaano the statements oba ye statement gye yakoze ku nsonga y'abasiyazi. Ye statement gye yakoze ku nsonga y'abasiyazi whatever. So wait, next stop is Johannesburg. It's going to be powerful. Okay, yeah, the statement Diakoze and all this kind of thing. Now Museveni and his cronies ne PR machine ye media house ye yagenze kunokolayo kintu kimu kyokka ekyo statement Diakoze about human rights. And of all people, Dr. Kaliisa, I know my counterparts have talked about this issue, Nabichi. Nay, of all issue, I think Dr. Kaliisa, Yakubi Bali. You see, Kaliisa, with the problem with him is one. I expected him to be rational. Era okuwanga takozesa gundi. I could say, musajja mukulu, I will respect him. So, nabadde musubira okuba nti nga akozesa amagezi ge. N'okozesa knowledge in the way he approached this question. You see, the problem is one, everyone years is entitled in an opinion. But your opinion has to be informed and factual. You cannot just say that, oh, no, now I'm entitled to my opinion. You are not entitled to an ignorant opinion. You are entitled to an opinion, eri entuf, that is factual and well informed. So, opinion Kaliisa yawadde ku NBS yabadde ignorant, number one. Ekyokubiri kyekyokuba nti no Nairobi Post, a sister news agency eya NBS yeyasooka n'efulumya omutwe nga gugamba nti Bobiwine agambye talina basiyazi. Ku show y'emu ne bayita Kaliisa najja n'agamba nti kakati Bobiwine agambye oyo mutesiteso oyo musajja oyo yabadde mu hostings n'ayogera ebyo bye yayogedde. Mukakati Bobiwine agambye nti biki ng'akitwistinga okuba nti naakireeta mu ngeri ya omunayuganda owa wansi okubanga akiwulira nti oh Bobiwine agenda kakati muwulidde Kaliisa bwamugambye nti he's stupid erabika n'okubikola abikola. I don't want to misquote him. That is some sort of thing on how they meant. What is the purpose of Kaliisa making these statements and comments? Number one, the statement Kaliisa made on that television about the Basiyaga were political. And they were calculated to go to the viewers n'abantu abawuliriza TV. Okulabanga balaga abana Uganda nti oh Bobiwine agenda kutuleetera ebisiyaga. That is the narrative that they are cooking up. That is what they are cooking up. Now, the problem with that is one. Nti Bobiwine's answer was the best, we all know that. Nti yajire senga, it is hanging. He's not here to fight. Nti okay, kakati abasiramu namwe ngenda balwanirira, abarokole namwe ngenda balwanirira, oba abasamize namwe ngenda balwanirira. Now, if the Basamize do not have their rights in Uganda, let's, for example, for argument's sake, Seka Kaliisa is a Muslim, and I'm a Muslim too. I know something about Islam. And I know the worst crime in Islam, or what the worst sin is in Islam, chichokuba antino, ogatika katonda nebintu ebirala. It's shirk. Shirk is the worst sin in Islam. Now, if we are having people who are performing shirk in a country, do they have rights or not? Don't we have shirk people in the country, Dr. Kaliisa? So, what should the Mukulembeze do about shirk? And now, my argument here is not to justify Nti Bobiwine, siku justifying any narrative, no, but I'm trying to show you an example. So kakati Bobiwine wagenda ku TV na agamba inti kakati, for example, if the people who are doing the obusamiza and all this kind of thing, they're the ones that are threatened in Uganda, ngayo tulaba banamagwe yobakale obusamiza nga bali threatened in Uganda, na agenda ku international television babuza abasamiza ogenda bakolera ki. Kati Bobiwine agamba no, abasamiza, I do not believe in what they do. Era ne katonda gwe bakkiririzaamu ze simukkiririzaamu, but I will fight for their rights. No one could think of Islam Buganti or Mushiriku, I know, So he's right to say that, you know what, they can believe in what they believe. We have religious. I'm not trying to justify what Dr. Kaliisa was trying to explain on national TV. No, I'm trying to make an argument. Okulaganti no Kaliisa is explaining kyabadde irrational era teyakozesezza magezi kuba nti no akinyonnyola abantu, wabula yashikutte clear cut n'akibakubirawo. Number 1, to kill the votes of the elderly, because when we look here nti kakati Kaliisa ogaye nti no Bobiwine agenda kuleeta ebisiyaga mu Uganda. Aren't there ebisiyaga already in the country? They're already there. People are already there. They are already there. So kakati, should we be blaming Bobiwine atanabana kuyingira ntebe nti kakati yabirese? Absolutely not. Who has brought it? It is Museveni. Has Museveni benefited from this movement? Of course he has. Museveni in the government here, there is an element, or there is a string attached of human rights. So when you go to national TV, not a balancing argument says unawe kubira side yemu ngolaga nti Bobiwine yalina obuzibu kakati agenda tuleetera ebisiyaga, of which ebisiyaga already webiri kiringa ng'ekyabasamize abasamize already webali e Uganda. So kakati ogamba nti onagenda tuleetera obusamize, kitegeeza obanga agamba nti Uganda is pure, obusamize tebulimu. Even right now newe ogenda mu Saudi Arabia abasamize gye bali, people who do shirk and all this kind of thing. But does Saudi get them and slash their heads off? Absolutely not. Now, the second thing is this. Uganda is not a Sharia state. Because as Muslims, we believe until we have different religions have different repercussions for that particular act. Now, remember that we are not living in a religious state. Uganda is neither a Christian or a Catholic or a Muslim state. It is a multi-religious state. Now, how do you handle situations, or how do you handle scenarios of things that contradict religions, but of which every different religion has different repercussions for this particular act? So go over to Saudi Arabia, for example. It is a Sharia state. That one you know what is going to happen to a thief. The same reason as to why mu Uganda. We do not. You cannot get omuntu n'omutemako omukono bw'olwokuba yabbye. Of which kind it would have, kakati nga mu government enedi, it would have been thing to do. Nti kakati we tukwata abasajja abo ababbye sente z'omuwi w'obusole za corruption na biki. Awo tekiba kibi, bamukwata ne bamuggyako kino. Because we are not living in a Sharia state. So that is why what happens is the toyinza gamba, because kakati wetubanga tuina multi religions, what do we go to? We go to the constitution. What does the constitution say? Inti, these people should be put to death or baba batte. I don't know. Inti baba take away the gamba bulungi. I think the gamba baba batte or something of that sort. But what does okubata entail? And before that, do you know who they in a perspective? Okay. Anyway, Saga again not so much into identity. I'm trying to play and analyze this situation in terms of identity, but to analyze this situation to know the argument Dr. Kaliisa yakoze. Because argument yakoze, it was calculated to portray Bobiwine ng'omuntu agenda okuleeta obusiyazi mu Uganda. But we all know that abasiyazi bali mu Uganda. What do you have to say about that? If you, Kaliisa, you are saying in Tino, Bobiwine agenda okubaleta. For the past 33 years. Kakati omuna Uganda yewe abanga talowooza nga tategeera. Yajja kulowooza nti Uganda temuli bakola bintu ebyo. Bobiwine agenda bakwata gy'abajje abaleete abayiwemu. Today Winnie Byanyima is on the same campaign. And why is this campaign taking centerfold in Uganda? Ugandans have bigger problems than this. Good, LGBT has never been a big problem for Uganda. As a country, as a problem that binds us all together. It has never been. Whether you're LGBT or not, you will all go to the same hospital, you won't get the medical services. You will all go to the same schools, you won't be able to afford to pay for your children's school fees. You will all take the same transport system and you won't be able to afford it. But this conversation is now taking centerfold. Unfortunately. So you see Winnie Byanyima, she's on Twitter. A lot of people are dying. A lot of women are being beaten up and a lot of things are happening in the country. She's holding a high position of power. But for the past, how many years she has been campaigning for this issue? But she never looks upon other issues that are taking place in the country. Why? Now, she's the wife to kind of Dr. Kizza Besigye. How can you discuss the issue of LGBT, not discussing Bobiwine, and leave out kind of Dr. Kizza Besigye, as well as leaving out the president himself, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni? Tosobola. It is either a problem, number one, with the interviewer, or it is a problem with the station where they themselves had come up with this criteria engeri gye bayinza kispicinga but Bobiwine nga yasinza okuba obubi ennyo. Bobiwine has not even made a clear statement, but we have Winnie Byanyima. She's making a clear statement. And Winnie Byanyima is a wife to Dr. Kizza Besigye. Can they have different opinions in terms of policy on the issue, on the matter? Well, then we should ask Besigye when it comes up. The next person we should call is Besigye. And we see if Besigye is going to contradict Winnie Byanyima. How come Besigye should bachimubuza? I challenge those people to call upon Dr. Kizza Besigye. Boss. But anyway, all this is a calculated move to try to discredit Bobiwine internationally. The doctor goes on Nagamati, the Right Reverend Jesse Jackson, Mubiwagira Bobiwine, Jesse Jackson Yagina Kwangloba president, Singa Yalita Wagira Bisiaga. That's absolutely not right. In the 1980s, we were at the climax of racism in America. Jesse Jackson, in 1984, he couldn't win. Because even as you speak today, there is still institutionalized racism. In America, LGBT rights is not a very strong issue that people stand on in the US in terms of election. They do not. If they did, let me tell you one thing. Hillary Clinton would be in that White House. If they did. If it was the first thing that they were standing on, Okubanga Balonda, Clinton yandibadde mu White House say. But let's go back to Lane. 1984 Jesse Jackson's fight for rights was not entirely about LGBT. It was more focused on the blacks. Rainbow Push Coalition and all this kind of thing, which Bobiwine is doing. Now, what the people are doing in Uganda today is they are trying to kunokolayo just a small, minute element of the LGBT in the entire Ugandan context, in the entire black context of 1984, when the Right Reverend Jesse Jackson stood for the presidency of the United States of America. Because what he was fighting for was not fighting for the rights of LGBT, no, he was fighting for the rights of black people as black, for as long as you're black. Whether you are trans or you're queer or you are whatever, it's all up to you. Martin Luther King, the same thing. He wasn't there fighting for the rights of the Gundi, or Limo African Musinego, Gorimo African Muna Kenya, Gorimo African Muna Uganda. When you start going into such kind of minute identities, you are losing the struggle. Now they are trying to corner Bobiwine, Bamugambe, Kakati. Bobiwine, banogena bakolotia. It doesn't work. The Right Reverend Jesse Jackson in 1984, you're losing Akalu because number one, he stood as an independent. Number two, America was not yet ready for a black president. Simple as that. It was as racist as it was during the slavery times, and even worse. It is. We all know. Putting that aside, in 2008, a pro-LGBT president, a black pro-LGBT president with the name Hussein comes up, in 2008, now Wanguloba president. Wanguloba president, Nesimba Nekusanje Chokubiri, Nabafuga Miaka Kumi. Hussein, Obama Hussein. So why would you say that Jesse Jackson Obama president in 1984, Morocco ya Wagrebisiaga, at Obama Nebamu 2008. Atenga ye Obama yabayo na campaigning that directly into LGBT rights and all this kind of thing. Was Obama elected because of LGBT rights? Definitely. That is not even a 0.01% reason as to why Obama was elected. Obama's election came out as a result because, number one, the time was right for a black African, an African American president. The time was right. Obama as a candidate himself, very eloquent, well educated. In fact, the name Hussein is a name post 9/11 2001 is a name that would appear. I would say that is a name that would appear on a ballot ticket in the United States of America, and no one would vote for it. Because Hussein is really, well, America, but very, you know, when you go to the South, America, if you go to the southern states, like, these are the people are very much in the past. These are the areas, slavery in the southern states. So, Jakuida, what was the South? America, south or the north. But southern states, they are very conservative. Some of them are a bit naive. Texas and all these other places. Very radical. Now, as the states, they cannot vote for you. Some of them. Intermix and all this kind of thing. So most of the things have changed. But the name Hussein, ngatu akavamu 9/11, Osama bin Laden yakubira the both trade centers. Muslims in the United States of America, you couldn't even hold a political position. But now we have a person who has the name Hussein, Saddam Hussein, running on a ticket, a Democratic Party, Najiwangula nakuba Hillary Clinton, a career politician. The odds were really against Barack Hussein Obama. Obama, he openly campaigned for. In fact, LGBT people got more out of Obama presidency than the black people. So if Kaliisa comes out, natandika okuwoza nti okay, kakati mulabe Reverend Jackson beba wagira Bobiwine, kakati Reverend Jackson wabanga wagira Bobiwine ekyamumisa n'oba president mu 1984 kyeky'okuba nti yali awagira ebisiyaga. It was not an issue. Kakati take us down history line. 2008, Barack Obama gets the presidency of the United States of America. He's pro-LGBT. He holds the name Hussein. Say what you want. Hussein. Hizo gamba si Muslim. Of course, Obama tumulabyeko agenda machachi. He's going here and there. Na yetu is akugamba nti why? Because tata we yali naye ogende Kenya. His roots, they are Muslims. So Kaliisa, he was not knowledgeable mu yabadde ayogedde. His opinion yabadde nfu, number one, ekisooka. Ekyokubiri, opinion ye yabadde teyina facts. Ekyokusatu kyekyokuba nti no yabadde more of a political opinion nga akikubira NRM than being rational, kuba nti no nga drawing examples from Winnie Byanyima and President Museveni himself. Then he goes on later, Amani is a conspiracist. I've followed this gentleman, I know. I've followed him, and I've listened to most of the things he has said. I've followed him ever since I was young. So he's talking about things like Fourth World War. Of course, these are conspiracy theories. Yogera kubintunga simanyi kakati tuli mu Fourth World War, bichi and all this kind of thing. Oh, that's crap. There is no Fourth World War. Now look here. The thing is true. The truth is, Kaliisa has followings. Now, what Kaliisa's agenda, over Kaliisa's task, was to create rage in his followers, to rage them up, to rev them up. Bagamenti, oh, kale ebirala nyinza obigimwikiriza Museveni taleetaako wano bisiyaga naye olaba Bobiwine agenda bireeta kanonde Museveni ono ne yeerabira nti already ebisiyaga weebiri. We already have these people. And what is, okay, if we sit down and say, what is Museveni's strategy on LGBT? What is his take come 2021? Because for any politician, they will always change their opinions towards an election. For any presidency, they will always change their opinion towards an election because they want to keep themselves in power. Do not tewewunya ngekibuuzo ekyo bakibuuzizza Museveni. Any strong, njagala oku empowering any strong journalist in Uganda awulira nti alina amaanyi ayimirire mu maaso ga Museveni akimubuuza ekibuuzo ekyo. Trust me, there is going to be a difference in Museveni's opinion on the matter as we speak today, because he has now shifted a lot of goalposts on how he is tackling issues. But should this cloud the entire national agenda? Is this the agenda that we want to be discussing? Should it be the forefront point that we should be discussing for 2021? Absolutely not. We have to look at Ugandans irrespective of their sexuality, irrespective of their tribe, religion. If at all we want okubanga tugusa ekintu kino n'okubanga tutereza ensi yaffe. Because you won't find a million LGBT people in the country. They are not there. You won't. But I can guarantee you will find 25 million people who need medical services in Uganda and they cannot afford them. I can guarantee you that you will find over 500,000 children who are faced by infant mortality rates every year. I can guarantee you that almost 75 or 85% of Ugandans are living below the poverty line. They survive on less than $1 a day. That is a guarantee. Those are the issues that should be on top of the national agenda when it comes to discussing issues that are supposed to be taking Uganda forward. Now, below that, you can come out in the Sandcock underlining, oh, the Muslims are being persecuted. Human rights are not being observed. Then we can start to discuss Ebintu from that particular angle. Now, if we are going to decide to sacrifice good health, if we are going to decide to switch, to take corruption for LGBT, then just know that Uganda is still suffering for the next time, for as long as those people are still in that house in Entebbe. Trust me. If we are going to sacrifice poverty, then we come, okay, let us stay with poverty. Let us not have medical attention or whatever, medical services. Let us have the poor education services. Let the people in State House steal the money for as long as Bobiwine statement jayogedde egenda kuze. For as long as Bobiwine tali nyawo mu Uganda kubanga akomyawo ebisiyaga, of which ebisiyaga already webiri. Over to consider reasoning. You have not reasoned. So, doctor, with all due respect, ekintu wakikoze naye wakubye ebbali. You didn't approach it from a doctor's perspective. Your answer was very political. Era ebyowadde oyogera waleeta obitegeera. The most ekintu kye nakulabyeko kiwasinza okubanga okola ekitategeerekeka. With all due respect, I respect you because you are a doctor, you are a sheikh, and all this kind of thing. Kyekyokuyiita Bobiwine nti he's stupid. For heaven's sake, you can't call him stupid. Honestly. Doctor, you are one person we think that should respect people before even abusing them. Because you're a reflection. Abantu bakulabirako bangi nnyo abasiraamu. If there is anyone that needs to be given such a title of stupid, is President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Dr. Anas Kaliisa, you know that very well. If Museveni does not befit the title of stupid, I don't believe there is any Ugandan who befits that title, especially when you're sitting on national television and call an individual abantu bonna bonna gwe bakkirizaamu essaawa ya leero okubanga abajja mu buwambe n'omuyita stupid. It is a statement you made that you need to retract. As a leader, abantu gwe balabirako. I know you come from a village where I've lived before. But let's not get carried away. You as a doctor, as a muzeyi wakazi, or whatever, where Uganda, you can sit and challenge Bobiwine respectfully. No challenging with respect without calling him stupid. Have you ever sat down, Dr. Anas, Noita President Museveni stupid? You have not. Why would you call Bobiwine stupid? Look here. I'm not a sheikh or a chisiri doctor. Let's do the money yange, any basic. But they tell us that he's not among us. Oyo yenna omuntu omukulu atawa abato kitiibwa. Ate he's not among us oyo omuntu atawa abakulu kitiibwa. You get it? I've never heard Bobiwine ng'ayita Museveni musiru oba mbwa and this kind of thing. He doesn't. Because he knows that he needs a vote from the elderly. Most elderlies know that, for example, okay, fine, twetaaga change. Naye ate muzeeyi tomuvuma. That's what they would tell you. So Bobiwine has played that outrightly. Now, for Anas to come out and argue, oh, Bobiwine is stupid. He's not stupid, for heaven's sake. He's the same conspiracist that doctor. Vayo nagamba anti Bobiwine mukwegamba alinga ayogera anti Bobiwine byayogera is not yitabitegeera Bobiwine byayogera waliwo ababimukolera yete ina magezi gabikola ebyo. Then who has the knowledge to do all what he is doing? Seka Anasi, you can never Bobiwine watu say, with all due respect, you are my fellow Muslim. Tusobola kutuukawo, you also know that. If it's not jealousy for you as a person, okuba nti omuvubuka ono atalina musiraamu atuuse watuuse, obuwiki omuvubuka ono yagenda n'ayimirira, nze when nakakasiza Bobiwine is the day he went to America on his first trip. N'ayimirira mu press conference and he mentioned the Muslim sheikhs that have been murdered, whereby reports have not been given to their families and the people of Uganda. That is the first day I took the hat off for this man, a Catholic coming out to fight for the rights of Muslims. What was your statement, Dr. Anas Kaliisa? You said that when Bobiwine came out and he said that Muslims are being massacred in Uganda and no one is saying a thing, gweke nyini wabayo n'ogamba nti kakati Bobiwine obuzibu aliko kino kiroya ki Robert Amsterdam. Did you want Bobiwine to take you omutwale mu Washington? Is that what you wanted? Okay, Anas Kaliisa wanted ti kakati ababalira Bobiwine. If Bobiwine ever follows Kaliisa's policies and Kaliisa's strategy, and struggle singa yagenda dawansi, it would have nosedived. Singa tetukyali nawo. Yadda mukoza, Bobiwine, kakati wakabi, na ya ineti sadde kino kibayita kigundi Robert Amsterdam. Kyekagenda munseno wet. What are you talking about? Is that what we should be discussing today? When you see the things are working, the strategy is working, kakati ate it's time to discuss the players? And then you come out and go, oh, no. Look here. Kakati Bobiwine yebe byayogera tabitegeera, bichi waliwo ababimukolera. Come on. Kwegamba olwona abamusomera abantu bajja bamugoberere. Seriously. Nze Dr. Kaliisa, I do respect him very much. But he's always waiting for those heated points. As a Sibeko, as Kovisa Bobiwine, for the public, Nadale Yabantu Abakuru Abazei. That is him, the Yagundi ye area age I know Kozesa. Mbajaku Jaya Fure analysti, Mbungataina Saidi, Taina Saidi Jagwa, Taina Saidi Jamba, and Kakati in this and the analyst in the Wakati. Kakati arguments size fa bazitegeera ng'omulaba of course ali mu kukuba Kyagulanyi wotukira okuyita Kyagulanyi stupid, then you have lost the argument. Who loses the argument? As a doctor, you have to sit down, have a civil discourse, ne tutandika okugamba, okay, fine, ogambye nti nno Bobiwine ayagala kuzza bisiyaga. Let us break that down. Ebisiyaga mu Uganda weebiri oba tebiriiwo? Nti weebiri ku mulembe gwani? Nti gwa Museveni. So kakati Bobiwine kiki kyagenda okuleeta olw'edda ekiri? So you need to explain that. Two things. It is either the media, or the interviewer, or the doctor himself, or all of them. They cannot break down a conversation into a meaningful civil discourse eri omuntu abalaba oba abawuliriza. Ovuddeyo ogaya Bobiwine agenda bileta. Okay, Winnie Byanyima. How can you mention these issues not ayogera ku Winnie Byanyima? And of which, if you bring Winnie Byanyima into the question, or inokuleta Besigye, what is Besigye's stand? Hey. We need to ask, Chekintu ekiruma Bannayuganda ennyo? Definitely not. Naye doctor, embeera ye. Yagambye n'okugamba nti Bobiwine alabika abikola n'obbiko era naye Dr. yavumye Bobiwine. So yamugambye nti ali stupid biki. Dr. be careful. Katonda ono akyusa obudde n'abuzibya n'abukeesa bujja kukyanga Bobiwine yali mu ntebe eyo. Dr. n'olagawo n'ofuluma Uganda. Ng'omukulembeze omuyise stupid. Tojja kudduka. This is a leader in making. Kitegeera. Toyinza kuvaayo n'omuyita stupid. Ekyo Museveni tokimuyitangako. Museveni yatta abasiraamu sinti yatta. But naawe obimanye eby'embalala muzeeyi Kaliisa. Gwe mbulira abantu abazze bafa. Abasiraamu. N'otasabaayo na ripooti n'emu. Gwe Seeka Kaliisa. Kiki ky'osinga okulumirirwa? Busiraamu oba Uganda? Waba osinga kulumirira busiraamu, kiki ky'okozeewo ku bukulembeze buno obuliwo okulaba nga mububuuza ebyali embalala gy'ova? Abantu abattibwa abasiraamu okozeewo kiggwe nga Seeka. Ekyo ng'okitadde wabbali. Wagenze n'ogamba nti abamuwagira nabo babirimu ebyo oba si kyo tuli hoodwinked. I don't know what you meant. Oyinza okuba wabadde olowooza ffe abali mu diaspora. I would like to think that, but I don't want to think that. Oba oyinza okuba obadde otegeeza bano boyita nti no nga ba Reverend Jesse Jackson mwe bawagira Bobiwine. Jesse Jackson, what is his worth? Talina na senti. Nti bebali mu kukola ki ffe tubiwagira and all this kind of thing. Now let me tell you this, Anas. Honestly, tusasula oyina ekibiina bakiyita Zaka and Work for Uganda. Mulimu abasiraamu abali mu diaspora nga basasula Zaka mu kibiina ekyo. Lwaki sente zaabwe temuzigoba? Lwaki Zaka yaabwe temugigoba? Bwe baba nga bawagira ebisiyaga. Mugigobe. Mubagambe mu abasiraamu abazaka abawagira ebisiyaga oba abasiraamu abawagira Bobiwine awagira ebisiyaga temutuwa Zaka yammwe tetujagala. Come out and make that statement. Temutuwa Zaka yammwe tetujagala. Katubuuze mukulu Kaliisa. Oliwo aba musiyazi nga musiraamu n'aleeta Zaka, would you chase that Zaka away? Because kakati tuba twagala okubeera rational in our argument. Njagala okumanya, if I was seated with Anas on the same table, these are the questions I would ask. And it's not asking just to justify what he was trying to mean about Bobiwine, but it is asking to prompt him to show or what to try to expose. Nti ekintu kyayogerako alabika takitegeera. Ne Bobiwine alabika yamutegedde bubi nti teyamufunye. Get back in the camera. What do you mean the camera? Lina Nice, what do you mean get back in the camera? Camera siri mumwe. What do you mean? Camera siri mumusoka mumbulire. Okay, chai kagundi ene badde. Gundi ene Kaliisa siri. Banga camera yange. What's wrong with my camera? And we have ourselves okay. Kakati Seeka twagala atubulire ne kubasamize. Obusiramu. You only see my left eye. What do you guys mean? You can now nzenga nera mu kamera mwendi. Ndina na stress simu. Mwe guys, Seeka jatubulire ne kubasamize. Bamama fina basenga kulanna abatubulire what is his take on those people? Atubulire kubasamize tumanye. Abakola shiriki atubulire. Njagala okumanya. I'm just trying to put my points out. If he watches my live n'agiraba, that I would be very, very happy to listen to what he has to say. Kakati seka nga tuvuddeyo tujja muddira mpola mpola. Nze nabagambye gundi issue yo tetujja kowa jinnyonnyola nga yitwagitegedde. Era abannayuganda tebababuzaabuza ebyo bye boogera mbu simanyi Bobiwine kakati agenda kuleeta ebisiyaga. Talina bisiyaga byagenda kuleeta. That is no tekiri nawo. Bobiwine yabagambyeko mbu agenda kujja ne Bulaaya atuleetere ebisiyaga bikutukubire mu Uganda. No, tekiriyo. It's not right. Ekyo Seeka Kaliisa yalimbye. Talina bisiyaga byagenda kuleeta Bobiwine. It's absolutely not right. Because what we byayogerako already mu ebiri. Bobiwine tanaba kugambako nti agenda bileeta. Kitegeera. Ekirala Jesse Jackson tebamumwa wa president olw'okuba yali awagira ebisiyaga. That's not right. Ekyamumisa oba president Jesse Jackson is because in 1984 America was not yet ready for a black president. Ate I say through the traditional channels, political channels, is on America, for example, through the Democrats and the Democratic Party and the Republicans. It has considered. I think he had contested as an independent. A few years later, almost 20 years later, 30 years later, 2008, Barack Hussein Obama, Najane Yesimbawo, Oba president na Abulia. Whereas Obama campaigning ku bisiyaga about human rights, it's not a very big issue as why he was voted into power. There are lots and lots of issues. As on this Obama, the list of them is the issue of LGBT. Whereas the issue of human rights, nature kubanchi Obama yali agambye agenda kuggalawo Guantanamo Bay, akomyewo n'abasirikale abali mu Afghanistan ne Iraq. Those are some of the issues about zebasinzirangako okulabanga balonda Obama. Issues to deal with the domestic taxation, issues to deal with his foreign policy. N'ebintu ebifaanawo ebityo byebintu bye basinziirako okuba nti bamulonda. Wano we tuli olwaleero e Bungereza tugenda mu kalulu ngenda kulonda ngenda kuzomezi 12. Me wano e Bungereza mukimanyi abannayuganda ffenna tulonda. If you come from the Commonwealth we all vote, whether you're a citizen or not. Tukimanyi bulungi nti Boris Johnson and people like onomwami ani Jeremy Corbyn, walono wa Brexit party, they are all running for office. Okulaba nti tufuna gundi MP, bamuyita batya, Prime Minister mpya. So kakati what is going to happen is Nzebaleogera manifesto. The manifesto they are talking about, LGBT is not an issue. Human rights is not an issue. The issue they are talking about is fast broadband, NHS, issues about Brexit. Those are the top issues for the election. About there is no issue to deal with LGBT. It's a non-starter. Over human rights, it's a non-starter. It's not. Again. Lastly, what a week it was for a man that needs no introduction. Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Omukuru Mr. Vegas yamu Endorsing nze n'agamba banaye Mr. Vegas yabudde n'agamba banaye bannayuganda Bobiwine mumuwe chance abeere president wammwe. Twabadde tuli awo omukulu Bobiwine ng'ali South Africa ya meetinze omukulu amanyikiddwa Yes, Selo Malema ku offices za economic freedom fighters. South Africa yabadde trip, Uganda ne people power gye twafunyemu ennyo. Okusinkana kwa Malema kyabadde kintu kikulu nnyo eri struggle eno. Omukulu Vegas okuba nti yawadde Bobiwine endorsement kyabadde kigambo kinene nnyo. Dr. Kaliisa kyatasobodde nakunnyonnyola olw'obunene bwakyo. Ebyo byonna bagezaako bibikka nti kakati Bobiwine w'omulaba essaawa ya leero agezezzaako kakati ateekawo kye tuyita inspiration eri abayimbi abalala bonna abava mu nsi endala ze baagala okuba nga bateekamu enkyukakyuka. Temwewuunya abantu nga Mr. Vegas okuba nga nabo beesimbawo eyo gye bali okufuuka ba parliamentarians. Kulu Bobiwine we yali e Jamaica ya meeting abasajja nga Buju Banton omusajja bamusiba mu America olw'okuba yali afunye esimanye ebiragalalagala oba nga abikoze eki mbu bamukwata n'enjaga. Era naye yali musagaza ebisiyaga ebyo twalacuyene ne bamukwatire ne bamusiba emyaka 8 paka we bamuziza. Bobiwine era ye Munnayuganda eyasooka mu meeting nga yakava mu komera omukulu amanyikiddwa nga Buju Banton. Okusisinkana Malema whereas waliwo policies ezimu zesikkiriziganya nazo, naye ate Malema in the future asobola okulya obukulembeze bwe South Africa olw'ekintu kyazimba n'olw'ekibiina kye kya economic freedom fighters, olw'okuba nti olunaku lwe yakifoominga mu 2013 asobodde okuba nga afuna ababaka abawerako mu parliament eye South Africa. Bobiwine buli wasisinkana abantu bano aba akola emikwano egigenda okubuyambako okubanga atwala entebe ey'obukulembeze. Era temubanga muli awo mujja kulaba Malema nga ayingidde South Africa ekintu akikutte. Bobiwine nga akirimu wano e Uganda, Chamisa nga yatabulamu wali e Zimbabwe, n'abakulembeze abalala bangi nnyo mu nsi ez'enjawulo. Wetwogerera olwaleero ensi eya I think ya Netherlands yalonze prime minister wa myaka 34. No, is it Netherlands? Finland yalonze prime minister wa myaka 34 yakulembera ensi 34. Lwaki? Nti abantu be oba abantu baba abasinga yeyo agement yaba abantu bavubuka. Tuli mu generation ey'abavubuka millennials. Ekyo bagundi bano ba baby boomers ba mukulu Kaliisa ba baby boomers nabanyonyola ekigambo kitegeeza abantu abazaalibwa okuva mu 1945 paka mu 1967 betuyita ba baby boomers. Nti abantu babatta nnyo mu mwaka gwa 1938 paka 45 olw'ensonga nti olw'assematalo owokubiri. So generation ziringa nnya. Esooka ye quiet generation. Quiet generation ye generation eri wakati wa 1900 paka 1945 oba 1938. Lwaki tubayita quiet generation is because abo abasinga baafa era bakaddiwa ne bavaawo tebakyali nawo. Abantu abazaalibwa mu 1900 paka mu 1978. Okuva ku 1945 paka mu 1970 eyo generation tugiyita ba baby boomers. Olw'ensonga nti abantu babakubiriza nnyo okuzaala kasita baamala okubanga battibwa mu ssematalo owokubiri. Era ennaku zino abantu abasinga abakulu bakadde bafe bamuyita booma. Ekyo kigambo kakati kitrendinga boomers. Tebakyagala kibayita. Olw'ensonga ba boomers babalabanga abantu abali backward ennyo. Waliwo generation eddawo ya wakati kati baby boomers mwe Kaliisa, Kahindo Otafiire, Henry Kajura, bali abo bonna bebo basalimu balaba. Kitegeera. Eno generation ndi bagitegeera. Kakati okuva mu 1970 awo okutuukira ddala mu wetuli essaawa ya leero kino kye tuyita ba millennials be bafe. ebintu byaffe biri fast, buli kimu fast cars, fast food, fast internet, fast kino teri byagumiikiriza nti ate kate musooke mundekemu mala okujjamu ebintu byange mu state house then kakati ate mwe mujja kuyingira nga wayiseewo. No. Yeno generation tulimu eyaba millennials. Wobanga wazaalibwa wakati wa 1975 n'okutuusa essaawa ya 1975 I think n'okutuusa 2000 be bayita aba millennials. Kakati mwe ba Kaliisa aba baby boomers ne ba Museveni abantu bagenda babajjawo. Kyovolaba mu Finland omuwala bamulonze myaka 34 egy'obukulu eky'obuto kwe balonze okubanga yaba twala mu nsi eyo. Mu Uganda mwe mukyalina wakimeka 7 so bana Uganda omukulu Kyagulanyi trip gye yakoze South Africa bana Uganda suubi na kulaga nsi nti omulimu gwe tuliko guno mulimu gw'amaanyi nnyo. Era yatulaze nti diaspora mwe kye mutannaba kwegendereza kyekyokuba nti amaanyi diaspora ge mulaze mayitirivu nnyo. Singa mwali mugamanyi, if you only knew the power you held. Diaspora has been a sleeping giant that has now been awakened by the People Power movement. If it wasn't for the Ugandan diaspora movement yeyo singa n'abantu tebagimanyi nako. Trust me, like it or not. You see, most people would say that for Mayanja tubeera kuno n'osaako ekitaala n'ojjera yasama tewali kigenda mu maaso, tewali kiriwo. Wapi gwe Mayanja temulina kye mujja kukola. Kitegeera mwatuvuma wano nga tutandise okukola zilaivu zaffe ne batuvuma. Mwogerere eyo temulina kye mulina, muli eyo mwogerere eyo mujjemu muyogerere wano. Nakati muddemu mu byogere kale. Muddemu mu byogere mu tujje tubyogere naawo. Temusobola. South Africa twabagobyeyo. Canada temusobola kulinnyayo, mu America babagobayo. Ekintu kiwedde. Nabagamba diaspora tuwa Uganda trillion emu. 4.1 trillion Ugandan shillings in remittances per year. Esente ze musindika e Uganda buli mwaka zibalirirwamu trillion 4 n'obuwumbi 100 eza Uganda. Budget ya Uganda olwaleero eri ku trillion 4. Nga ku trillion ezana trillion 2 mwe billion 3 2.3 trillion bagenda zeewola internally. Ezisigadde bazeewole okuva mu nsi ezo wabweru. Kakati diaspora webanga contributing 4.1 trillion mu economy. Goddo kyao n'ogamba mute tuyina maanyi ge tuyina mu nsi yaffe Uganda. Goddo kyao ne wezalawa nti nze sine kye nzija kwogera. Muganda wange amaanyi tuyina. Esente gy'oweerezeeyo eyina kinene nnyo kyegatta ku nsi yaffe. Get that figure right. 4.1 trillion zetuweereza. Ekyo kikulaga ki? Nti buli we twegatta tulina impact gye tukola eri ensi yaffe mu bulungi ne mu bwetaavu. Twetuba nga tusobola okusindika sente 4.1 trillion tuziraizinga. Kiyinza kitya okutulemererwa tutya okubanga tetusobola kukyusa nsi yaffe nga tukwataganidde wamu. Aweereza dola emu, dola ebbiri, dola esatu, dirhamu emu, amafaranga ebbiri and all this kind of thing. Okakana nga trillion 4 mu billion 10 nga ziweze nga economy etambula. Trip ya Bobiwine omwaka guno okutambula ennyo mu diaspora, he has been reassuring us. Okutulaga oba naffe okutumekinga okuba nga tuli part and parcel of this struggle. So bana Uganda mwebereremu kintu mukitambuze tugezeeko nga tusobola okubanga tukwasaganya mu buli mbeera, especially when we are being called upon. South Africa, you didn't let us down. You represent era ne Museveni kakati n'otulondooza teyatufunye. Abo ababbye sente z'abaaziridde sisuubira nti baba nadde e Kampala. Olw'ensonga nti bigenda kubeera bizibu nnyo. Agenda babuza accountability nga tebagirina. So balina okubeera very careful. Kanange nkome wano tujja kuwuliziganya olunaku olunaabaluzeeko. Mwebale nnyo okuwagira ekyoto guys. Baganda bafe abali ebundibuddo tubasaasidde, abali ebuduuda kusaasira you as well. Namwe namwe n'abatuuseeko ebizibu ebyenjawulo man tubasaasira nnyo. Ebizibu ng'ebyo tuba tulina okuvaayo ne tuyimirirawo ne twebeereramu ne tuba nga tukwatagana ne bannayuganda okuba nti tubayambako. Wano ku kyoto tulina campaign gye twagala okukola. Nja kwogerako ne management ndabe ey'okuba nti tubaako ne kye tukola ebundibujjo. Zemayanja nina omwana wa myaka 3 n'omulala alina emyezi 2.5 ndowooza. Naye ebifaananyi bye nalabye eby'abaana abo abaafiiridde mu mataba, to me as a father and a parent, man, byabadde very, very distressing. Picking children out of the mud. Ng'olabira ddala abantu abali mu bwavu okufaako obufi. That was really sad to me as a parent. So as a Choto, we want to see what we can do. Head out to Bundibujjo. We work with our team on ground. Okulaba nga tubaako ne kye tutwalayo at least whatever, oba kawunga oba ngoye oba ki, to make a campaign for these people in Bundibujjo. I know even in Bududa something happened, but fenna tulina okufuba okulaba nti tubaako ne kye tukola. Through these acts of kindness, mukisobola okuyitira ate ne twongera okutegeeza bannayuganda okubalaga nti banaye, look here guys, whereas Katonda agera byageze, naye ffe tubadduukiridde mu mbeera yonna gye tusobola okuba nti nno tubabeererawo. So ladies and gentlemen, those of you who would like to be interested, oba abali interested in this campaign, woba oli Uganda, nga musobola okujja ne mubeera part of the team enegenda ebundibujjo, let us know. If you are in the UK or any other part of the world, let us know. Tugenda kukola campaign drive. I will first speak to the management in Dabe. Twagala kukola campaign drive egenda ebundibujjo, and we see what we can do. We are calling upon your ideas, your input, anything you can. Tulabenga tubako neche tukola to these people. I mean, those kids, those babies, for any lady out there, whether in I'm a father, seeing kids being picked out of the mud without clothes, man, it was hard for me. So, for anyone who is reading, please, mujaku to inboxinga, tukole, I think tujakola ka WhatsApp group akatono for the Bundibujjo campaign. Then you share ideas on what we can do and what these people need most. And we want to send an advanced team in Bundibujjo okulaba nga batubulira ekiri ku ground, and we see what we can do. So thank you very much for listening to me. For those of you who will be inbox us, tubeko ne kitukola bannaye, especially us in the diaspora, for such kind of causes, tulina okubanga tuzikozesa, si politically, but in a humane way, naye ne tubanga tuwenyigiramu okubanga tutasa bannayuganda bano n'abantu bano abagwiriddeko obuzibu buno. So For those of you who are interested, please let us know. Kubundi Bujo campaign yeno okubanga mujja tugende but to support it and see what we can do, especially for these people. Thank you very much. Because some people have decided GoFundMe. The problem with GoFundMe is taking along, especially withdrawing the money and all this kind of thing. Sometimes with the GoFundMe, digging deep into your pockets, you finance the thing and then you withdraw because they have a limit on withdraw and all this kind of thing. But we are going to make it a routine. We are going to make the Bundi Bujo campaign over Rescue Bundi Bujo, something like that. We need a campaign name and we need we're going to call a team on ground. Tugendeyo, oba ne role, oba ne fuso, tugule obuwunga, oba muchere, oba tensi, oba matundu bali, tubitwale Bundi Bujo and see something we can do ASAP before the end of this, before either the end of this week or next week. I'll first speak to the management, talk to them, and see what kind of humanitarian effort and then I'll be giving you updates on the Bundi Bujo rescue campaign. Otherwise, thank you very much, guys, for being on. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.